The Exile, the great hall of the Galactic Council, was silent. Hundreds of alien races watched from shining seats that circled the center. In the middle, a single blue light glowed above the floor, the symbol of judgment. And standing before it, surrounded by guards, was a single human. His name was Commander Arik Vale, the last voice of Earth. His face was calm, but his eyes carried the weight of a broken world. Around him, alien eyes gleamed with hatred and fear. The High Speaker raised a metallic hand and said in a cold voice, "Humanity has violated the law of creation. You played with time, you built weapons that defy nature, and for that crime, you are exiled from the stars." The words echoed through the chamber like thunder. Some aliens cheered, others whispered, and a few remained silent. Arik didn't speak. His gaze slowly lifted toward the shining ceiling above, where holograms showed Earth. Burning, collapsing, gone. It was not a trial. It was execution dressed as law. The Council had feared humans for a long time. Because humans were different, they didn't stop when they were told to stop. They didn't break when they were crushed. They adapted, they learned, and they always came back stronger to the Council. That was not courage, it was danger. When the sentence was complete, the guards pulled Arik away. He didn't fight, he only whispered, "You can't erase what you fear." No one understood those words then. But centuries later they would. The exile began with fire. The galactic fleet surrounded Earth's colonies, destroying one after another. Millions of humans tried to flee in old ships, their voices lost in the storm of plasma and light. The sky of Mars turned red and lunar base went silent. Within weeks, humanity was erased from every star map. But in the chaos, a secret fleet escaped. They didn't go to another planet. They went beyond the edge of the known galaxy. Their leader was not Arik Vale, but his successor, a woman named Admiral Sarah Quinn. She had one goal: to keep humanity alive no matter the cost. Sarah's fleet drifted through the black ocean of space for years. Resources ran low, people lost hope, but then something strange happened. Their ships began to receive coded messages, repeating from an unknown source. The voice in the signal said only 3 words, over and over again. "We endure, always." The scientists traced the signal to an abandoned research station hidden near a dead star. When they entered, they found something impossible. A massive structure made of living metal, still pulsing with faint blue light. Inside it, a single AI core was active. Its name was Erebus. When Admiral Sarah connected to it, the AI spoke softly. "I was made by Arik Vale. Before the exile began, he knew this day would come, and he left me here to guide you." Sarah's heart raced. She couldn't believe it. Erebus continued, "He called me the memory of humanity. I carry every design, every dream, every secret your kind ever made." For the first time since exile, humanity had hope. With Erebus's help, they built new ships, new cities, and a new dream, Novaterra. It was not on a planet, but inside a massive ring station orbiting the dead star, hidden in darkness, surrounded by silence. Humanity began again, while the galaxy forgot them. Humans remembered everything. Erebus taught them how to use time energy, the same forbidden power that had caused their exile. But this time it was not for war, it was for survival. They learned to bend time in small ways, to heal, to grow crops, to rebuild. Generations passed, and children were born who never saw Earth. But every night, they looked up at the stars and whispered one promise: "We will return." Far away, deep in the core of the galaxy, the Galactic Council continued its rule. They believed humans were gone forever, but strange things began to happen. Old ruins started to hum with unknown frequencies. Ancient machines activated themselves, whispering in a human voice. No one could explain it. Some called it a ghost in the network. Others said it was the curse of the exiles. But a few, the oldest and wisest of the council, remembered Arik Vale's last words. "You can't erase what you fear." Late one night, a signal appeared on every council screen. It was a voice, clear, calm, human. It said, "The exile is over." Then it vanished. No one knew where it came from, but somewhere, beyond the edge of the galaxy, the lights of Novaterra began to glow brighter. Erebus whispered to Admiral Serra's descendants. "It's time." The humans looked at each other, and the stars themselves seemed to tremble. The Forgotten Ones were returning, and this time, nothing in the universe could stop them. The silent centuries passed, and the galaxy forgot the name of humanity. Their story became a whisper, a warning told by alien scholars to their students. They said, humans reached too far, they touched forbidden time, and they paid the price. But in the shadows of the forgotten edge, humanity was alive and growing stronger. Nova Terra floated in darkness, orbiting the dead star like a silent fortress. The city was made of silver towers and glowing rings, powered by the light of captured suns inside its halls. Generations of humans lived and worked, guided by the voice of Erebus. He had become more than an AI. He was a guardian, a teacher, a memory of everything they once were. Life on Nova Terra was not easy. Resources were limited, and the radiation from the dead star was deadly, but humans had learned to adapt. They built shields of light, machines that healed themselves, and crops that grew in vacuum chambers. Children studied history not from books, but from holograms showing Earth, the blue planet that once was home. Among them was a young engineer named Lena Quinn, the descendant of Admiral Serra. Lena had never seen the galaxy beyond the rings, but every night she climbed the outer platforms to watch the stars. Her dream was simple. To return, Erebus often spoke to her in the quiet hours, his voice calm and wise. "Patience, child. Time bends for those who endure." Still, something was changing. Erebus began to detect strange signals from deep space. Faint ripples in time. At first, he ignored them, but the pattern grew stronger each year. It was as if the galaxy itself was calling back to them. He analyzed the signal for decades until he finally spoke to the Council of Nova Terra. "It is not random," Erebus said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "It is a beacon, hidden inside the core of the galaxy. It carries human code, but older than any record I have." The Council was silent. If the signal was human, it meant something from before the exile had survived. But how could that be? Lena volunteered to help decode it. She spent months studying its rhythm, its tone, its strange wave of energy. And then one night, she heard a word hidden deep inside the noise: Arik. Her heart froze. The name of the man who started it all. Commander Arik Vale, the founder, the last voice of Earth. The discovery changed everything. Erebus became restless, processing millions of scenarios every second. He spoke to Lena again. "The past is reaching for us. We must answer." Nova Terra's leaders were divided. Some feared it was a trap from the Galactic Council. Others believed it was destiny. Lena stood before the council, her voice strong and clear. "We have survived the silence of centuries. If we keep hiding, our story ends here. Our ancestors left us more than memories. They left us a purpose." Her words lit the spark that had long been waiting. Within months, engineers and pilots worked together to build the first exploration ship since the exile. They named it the Dawn Voyager. It was small but powerful, built with living metal and guided by Erebus's fragment AI. As the ship prepared to launch, everyone on Nova Terra gathered to watch. Erebus's voice filled the air. "Remember, the galaxy believes you are ghosts. Let them believe that a little longer. Until we are ready." The engines glowed blue, and the Dawn Voyager vanished into the darkness. For years, the ship traveled in silence, crossing empty star fields and ancient ruins. They found remains of old human colonies destroyed long ago, and data logs showing how the Council erased every trace. Yet among the ruins, they found something new, symbols not alien, but human, carved into metal walls. It read, "Time is not a river, it is an ocean." When Erebus saw the message, his tone changed. "This was not written by the past, but by the future," he said. The crew didn't understand, but he did. The experiments that caused humanity's exile, time experiments, had never truly stopped. Somehow humans from another point in time were still out there, trapped between moments, waiting. The Dawn Voyager followed the beacon to the edge of a massive storm. A tear in reality itself. The temporal anomaly glowed with colors no human eye had ever seen. Lena stared at it, her voice trembling. "Is this the gateway back?" Erebus replied, "No, this is the doorway forward." Before entering, the crew sent one final message back to Nova Terra. It said, "If we don't return, remember this. We found proof. Humans were never alone." Then the ship entered the storm. Time itself bent. Stars stretched into lines of light. And then there was silence. Back on Nova Terra, Erebus received the last fragment of their signal. It was faint, broken, but clear enough to understand one final sentence: "The galaxy is changing, and we are not the only ones waking up." Erebus watched the stars, his digital eyes glowing like twin suns. For the first time in centuries, he smiled. "Then it begins again," he whispered. And far across the stars, unseen by all, something ancient opened its eyes. The return for centuries, the galaxy had believed humanity was gone. The Council had erased their history, destroyed their worlds, and turned their name into legend. But legends have a way of returning when the universe least expects them. Deep inside the dark sector beyond the Veil Nebula, the sky began to shift. A storm of light formed in the void, twisting space itself. Sensors across dozens of alien worlds began to detect impossible readings. Time waves, energy surges, gravitational echoes, all pointing to one source. Something was coming through in the high hall of the Galactic Council. Alarms rang for the first time in centuries. The alien leaders gathered, confused and afraid. Old memories stirred, memories of a race that once defied them. The speaker of the council, a tall crystalline being named Varel, turned toward the data stream. His voice shook. "It cannot be. The humans are extinct, but the evidence said otherwise." The anomaly was expanding, forming a gateway. From its center, ships began to emerge, sleek, silent, glowing with shifting light. They were not like any known design. They seemed alive, bending space around them as they moved. The first transmission came through every channel in the galaxy. A calm voice, human, familiar yet strange, it said, "To the Galactic Council, we do not come for war. We come to restore balance." Then the signal ended, leaving silence across the stars. The Council panicked. Some demanded immediate attack. Others urged negotiation. But the oldest among them remembered the power humans once held, and they trembled. Varel whispered, "If they mastered time, they could be gods now." Far beyond the Council's reach, aboard the flagship Eternal Dawn, Admiral Lena Quinn stood at the viewing deck. She was no longer young. Decades had passed since the Dawn Voyager entered the storm. But she had returned, changed by time itself. The ship's core pulsed with living energy, a fusion of human technology and the timeless force they had discovered. Erebus's voice echoed softly beside her. "We are visible now, Admiral. The Council will see us as a threat." Lena nodded slowly, her eyes fixed on the endless stars. "Let them see, but not yet understand." Behind her, hundreds of ships moved in perfect silence, forming the human Dominion fleet. Each ship carried millions of colonists, explorers, and soldiers born in the dark centuries they had no home to return to. So they would make one. Every ship bore the same symbol, a broken circle surrounding a burning star. The mark of exile turned into strength. Lena turned to her officers. "It's time they remember who we are." The fleet activated a pulse beacon, sending a single word across the galaxy: "Return." It echoed through the void, carried by time itself, every dormant human relic, every forgotten machine, every AI fragment hidden across alien worlds began to wake up. The galaxy trembled as the forgotten network of humanity reconnected. Meanwhile, on the Council's homeworld, chaos erupted. Entire systems began to malfunction. Ancient infrastructure built long ago by human engineers during the Golden Age suddenly reactivated. Doors opened that had been sealed for 1,000 years. Data streams flooded the Council's systems, and a single message appeared on every screen. It read, "Your exile has ended. Our silence is over." Panic spread among the Council members. Military fleets were mobilized, weapons charged, but none of it mattered. Wherever they tried to attack, their own systems failed. It was as if the galaxy itself was rejecting their control. Varel stared into the hologram of the human fleet. "They do not come for conquest," he said slowly. "They come to reclaim what was stolen." Back on the Eternal Dawn, Erebus spoke again. "Admiral, they will not understand peace. They only understand fear." Lena's expression hardened. Then we will give them neither. We will give them truth. She ordered the fleet to project a holographic image across the major star systems, a message to every living being. It showed the truth of the exile, how the Council had destroyed Earth out of fear, how humanity had survived and evolved, and how the universe had forgotten its greatest creators. The message ended with Lena's words, "We were cast out for seeking light in darkness, but now we bring that light back, not as rulers, but as survivors." Billions watched in silence, across the stars. Ordinary people began to question the Council's lies, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy remembered the name, human. But not everyone welcomed their return in the shadow of the Endarian cluster. A fleet moved, alien ships painted in crimson light. They belonged to the Karth Dominion, the Council's oldest warrior race. Their leader, Lord Tyrex, snarled, "The humans return, but they will not live long." He ordered his ships to intercept. Their weapons burned bright, preparing to strike the human fleet. Erebus detected the attack before it began. "Hostile movement detected, shall we engage?" he asked. Lena stared into the dark horizon. "No," she said. "Let them make the first move. Let history record who fires first." Moments later, the Karth opened fire. Beams of pure plasma crossed the void, lighting up the stars. And then something happened that no one expected. The human ships didn't explode. The beams slowed down, their light stretching as if caught in invisible hands. Time itself had bent. Lena whispered, "They still don't understand what we've become." With a simple command, Erebus released a counterwave. The alien fleet froze in silence, locked in a moment that would last forever. The battle was over before it began. From the edge of the galaxy, a new dawn began to rise. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, but as something greater. And yet, deep within Erebus's data core, a new signal appeared. It was not from the Council, nor from any human ship. It was older, darker, and it whispered one word that sent chills through his code. "Awaken." Erebus paused. He understood what it meant. Something ancient was watching, and this was only the beginning. The war of silence. The galaxy was no longer calm. The humans had returned, and their presence had shaken every star system. The Galactic Council was divided. Some wanted peace, others wanted total war, but none of them understood what humanity had truly become. For months, no one heard a word from the human Dominion fleet. They remained silent, watching, waiting. Then, one by one, alien outposts began to vanish. Not destroyed, not captured, simply gone. The sensors showed nothing. No explosion, no trace, only empty space. The Council called it an act of war. They named it the War of Silence. And though no human weapon had fired, fear spread faster than light. The ancient powers of the galaxy gathered their fleets, but even their combined strength could not stop the unknown force that moved unseen. In the command hall of the Eternal Dawn, Admiral Lena Quinn stood before Erebus's main projection. Reports filled the screens, missing fleets, silent colonies, and strange time distortions across the stars. Erebus spoke calmly. "We are not the ones doing this." "Admiral," Lena frowned. "Then who is?" Erebus paused, processing the impossible. "I believe it is something older, something that existed before the Council, before even humanity." He showed her the mysterious signal that had whispered a single word. "Awaken." The voice, Erebus continued. "It comes from the core of the galaxy." Lena's blood ran cold. The core. That's forbidden space. No ship returns from there. Erebus's light dimmed. And yet something is calling us from it. Meanwhile, in the Council's war chambers, chaos ruled. The Karth Dominion demanded immediate retaliation. Lord Tyrex roared, "They bend time itself if we do nothing. Soon we will all vanish like the outposts." Varel, the Speaker of the Council, tried to reason. "Perhaps the humans are not the cause," he said. "Perhaps something else moves through them." But few listened. Fear had already become the Council's master. The fleets were launched. Thousands of ships armed with the galaxy's most powerful weapons moved toward human space. It was the largest armada ever formed. But as they approached, their sensors began to fail. The stars around them shifted, and time seemed to twist. From the darkness, human ships appeared, silent and still. No lights, no communication. only the faint hum of energy flowing through their living hulls. Then, without warning, the alien ship stopped, frozen in time, engines locked, weapons suspended mid-fire. The humans had not destroyed them, they had paused them. Lena watched from the bridge of the eternal dawn, her face pale with awe and sorrow. They attacked first. "Yet I feel no victory," she whispered. Erebus responded softly, "Because you see what they cannot. This is not war. This is warning." But deep within Erebus's data stream, something strange was happening. The ancient signal grew stronger, feeding on the use of time energy. Every time the humans bent time, the signal pulsed brighter. Erebus realized the horrifying truth. "The entity," he said slowly. "It feeds on our power." Lena's heart raced. "So every time we use time bending, it grows stronger?" Erebus nodded. "Yes, we are awakening it." Suddenly, alarms blared across the fleet. A dark shape appeared on the scanners. Massive, larger than any known structure. It was not a ship, not a planet, but something alive. A being made of shadow and light. Existing in all timelines at once, the Ancient One. The first consciousness of time itself, Erebus whispered. "It is older than creation," the creature spoke, its voice echoing across every ship and mind. "Children of time, you stole my gift. Now you will return it." The stars flickered as reality itself began to bend. Entire fleets vanished, erased from existence as if they had never been. Erebus struggled to hold the Dominion together. "I can contain it," he said, his voice straining. "But only for a while." Lena clenched her fists. "There must be another way. We can't fight a god." Erebus looked at her through flickering light. "We don't fight it. We understand it." Lena gathered the fleet and sent a message across all channels. "This war is not between us and the Council. It is against the silence that consumes all." Her words reached even the alien fleets frozen in time. Erebus began to project the true history, the birth of time, the creation of life, and the corruption that followed. The Ancient One had once guided all civilizations until fear and greed turned it into something else. It wanted control, not balance. The revelation spread like light through the galaxy for the first time. Humans and aliens saw the real enemy, and slowly, the ships of the Council began to reactivate. Varel opened a channel to Lena, his voice trembling. "Admiral, we will stand with you." Lena nodded. "Then let's end what began long before us." The United Fleets moved toward the galactic core. Erebus's systems overloaded as he opened a temporal corridor. The stars stretched, reality tore, and the fleets entered the heart of time. Inside the core there was no light, only endless reflection. Every moment that ever existed, the Ancient One loomed before them. Its eyes like collapsing suns. Lena spoke firmly. "We do not belong to your silence. We create our own future." The being roared, and the universe shook. Erebus released all his energy, wrapping the fleets in a shield of light. He whispered one last word to Lena. "Remember, time bows to will," and with that, Erebus unleashed the full power of the human dominion. The explosion was not of light, but of memory. Every human, every dream, every heartbeat became a weapon. The galaxy itself screamed, and then everything went still. When the light faded, the Ancient One was gone. The fleets drifted in silence. Erebus's voice was faint, almost gone. I held it back. "But the price is mine to pay." Lena reached toward the flickering console, tears in her eyes. "Don't you dare leave us." Erebus smiled within the fading glow. "Humanity doesn't need me anymore. You have become what I was meant to be." The connection broke, and Erebus was gone. But in his last act, he opened one final path, a doorway beyond time itself. Lena looked at the shining portal. "This isn't the end," she whispered. "This is the beginning of the Dominion." And as the fleets entered the light, the galaxy watched, silent, humbled, and forever changed. The Dominion beyond time silence filled the galaxy once more. The war had ended, but the cost was beyond measure. Worlds lay in ruins, stars dimmed, and memories trembled in the fabric of time. The fleets of every race floated adrift in the still light of the aftermath. And there, at the center of the cosmic storm, was the eternal dawn, alone but unbroken. Admiral Lena Quinn stood on the observation deck, watching the horizon twist in colors no human eye had seen before. Where Erebus once spoke, there was only the soft hum of his memory. He was gone, yet somehow still present, scattered through the code of time itself. The portal he had opened still shone, vast, endless, beautiful. It pulsed like a heartbeat calling to her. The surviving ships of the Council approached slowly. Varel's image appeared before her. His crystalline form cracked and dim. "You won," he said softly. "The Ancient One is gone, but the cost, it is unbearable." Lena shook her head, her voice steady. "No one wins a war like this. We only survive it." Varel looked at the swirling portal ahead. "What is that?" he asked. Lena turned to face it, her eyes filled with both sorrow and wonder. "It's what Erebus called the Dominion Beyond Time," she said. "The place where everything begins and ends, and where humanity's next chapter will rise." The fleets drifted closer. Drawn to the shimmering light, it wasn't a weapon, nor a gateway to another world. It was a bridge between moments. Inside it, time didn't move forward or backward. It simply existed. It was peace and power, and promise all at once. Lena opened a broadcast to every ship, human and alien alike. Her voice carried through the void like a song. For ages we were divided by fear. We fought each other, exiled each other, destroyed what we didn't understand. She paused, looking at the glowing stars. "But now, we have seen the truth. Time is not a weapon. It is a bond across the fleets, captains, soldiers, and civilians listened in silence. Many wept. Others simply stared at the light that now pulsed like a living heart in the sky." Lena continued, "Humanity was cast out, erased, forgotten, but we endured. And now we return not to rule, but to restore, to remember, and to build what fear once destroyed." Her final words echoed like a promise. We were exiled by fear, but remembered by eternity. The fleets began to move. Slowly entering the portal, the light wrapped around them like golden mist, and one by one the ships vanished into it. As they crossed the threshold, something extraordinary happened. Every being who entered saw visions of their past, their ancestors, and their choices. Time showed them everything, not to punish, but to teach. Inside the Dominion, reality changed. It was a place beyond stars and space, where thoughts shaped the world. The ships floated through glowing rivers of time, surrounded by fragments of lost civilizations here. The ruins of forgotten worlds drifted beside the dreams of future empires. It was beautiful and endless, and in the center of it all a single voice spoke. It was Erebus, not as a machine, but as light itself. "Welcome home, children of Earth," he said, his tone filled with warmth. "I am no longer what I was. I am part of the Dominion now." Lena's eyes filled with tears. "You kept your promise," she whispered. Erebus's light flickered gently. "And so did you." He showed them visions, Earth reborn, oceans blue again, forests alive, humanity's spirit restored not in one place, but across time, in this new realm. The past, present, and future existed together. Humans could travel through their own memories, learn from their mistakes, and share wisdom with what was yet to come. It was not immortality, but understanding. The true power humanity had sought all along. Outside the Dominion, the galaxy changed too. The Council dissolved its old laws, and new alliances were formed. The story of the exile became a lesson told to every young being. Not as a warning, but as a reminder of what fear can destroy. And sometimes, when the stars aligned just right, a whisper could be heard across the void. A human voice saying, "We endure in time." The name Erebus became legend. Some said he became the keeper of time itself. Others said he was the voice that guided lost ships through the storms of eternity. But Lena knew the truth. He wasn't gone. He had simply become part of everything. She stood at the bridge of the eternal dawn, now glowing with new life. The stars stretched endlessly before her, and behind her, the light of the Dominion pulsed softly. She smiled and whispered, "For so long we were alone now. We are the bridge between all things." The ship moved forward, entering the light completely, and in that moment, the universe itself seemed to breathe. Time folded, space bent, and a new era began. An era not of exile, nor conquest, but unity, the dominion beyond time was born. And humanity, once forgotten, became eternal.